All right, folks, so Easter's a couple of weeks away, and for many, the Lenten season will be wrapped up on the streets for Carnival. But the church is saying the road march is a mockery of the season. So we're picking up on that headline with the former chairman of the National Leadership Prayer Breakfast, Dr. Reverend Stevenson Samuels, and I'm not certain if those words are attributed to you. So let me start with, how do you feel about this Carnival during Easter time and what we see on the street on a Sunday? How do you feel about that?
Well, I believe that Carnival has a particular stigma, all right? I know it is very artistic, and I like art, I must say. You know, it's very musical. I love music. So there are some things about it that we can share hip hip hooray, but there is an overall stigma around Carnival that is very negative, very, you know, morally low, you know. And actually, when we see those images on television, especially, those are the things that we see. I don't know if those are the things that happen all the time, everywhere, because they say that Carnival is just not about that alone. But that's what we see. That's the image that is projected.
Morally low, period, or morally low because it's on a Sunday, morally low because it's in the Easter, or just morally low?
Morally low, period. You know, the kind of gyrations and suggestive moves, the kinds of clothing in public that is worn. In fact, if that is worn in halfway tree just like that, normally, people could be locked up for it.
You feel the same way about dancehall?
Dancehall, of course. There are some things about dancehall that that are unhealthy. You know, I mean, I love the rhythm though. You know, I love music. I'm involved in music, so I love the music, and I love art that comes out of our culture. But there are some things about those kinds of artistic expressions that we have to be careful of. And we need to be able to distinguish those things, you know, what things we can celebrate and the other things that we need to say, no, this is too much. You know, it's just like music that is promoting violence and so on. It's a long time this violence thing being promoted in music, you know, and you see we're reaping the whole thing of the results of it today. Is something that was sown from a long time. So we have to be careful how we sow things in the culture, music, dance, and so on, because years down the line, we're going to reap those things. So that's my position. You know?
How do you think we Jamaicans look at Easter now, Rev? There was a time when Easter was just Easter. Everything shut down.
Yes.
You know, even if you're not a Christian in a church, you respect Easter.
Yeah.
Do we still have that, or have we lost?
So as we are moving towards, or we are in a postmodern society and a postmodern era, things are becoming secular. Less and less persons are engaging spiritual formation and renewal. So we find that as that happens, people are becoming less conscious about Easter and the significance of Easter and the sanctity of Easter. So it just becomes a normal thing now. And again, because of these various activities, you know, secular activities during the period that we normally kind of hold sacred, you know, over time, these things are eroded. That is why we have to be careful how we begin to superimpose certain practices on certain seasons. We have to respect seasons. You know, if it's Independence time, let us not, you know, divert attention from the importance of and significance of independence. Well, it's the same thing about Easter. And if we do that, we are going to experience a decline in the nation as a whole. You know, even if you take out religion out of it and just say the whole cohesiveness of a society, we're going to lose that. You know, societies must rally around certain things and celebrate those things. We used to celebrate Easter, we don't celebrate it anymore. We're seeing the value of, or the loss of those kinds of respect and celebrations.
It's an interesting position, because I'm thinking now in my head, and I'm thinking it's not Easter time that they have Carnival in Trinidad or any other Caribbean country.
And what they did in Trinidad, they made sure that they put it outside of the Lenten season. Yeah, because they wanted to respect the Lenten
So it's
season.
kind of a last hurrah before the Lenten season.
Right,
starts.
Kind of the same thing with Christmas too. It's so commercial.
Yes.
It is not a religious
Absolutely,
holiday.
absolutely.
All right, go back to what you said earlier, that you like art, you like music. So overall, you have an issue with Carnival, is it just, as you said, the gyration and the lack of clothing and stuff?
Right. So it is those things that you mentioned a while ago that I have a challenge with. But it seems to me as if you take those things out,
It is not.
do you still have Carnival? You see, so and that's the power of art and culture.
Then are
know?
you then saying we should not have Carnival?
I am
Or
generally
in the way that it is
I am
celebrated?
generally not a supporter of Carnival because of
The way it's celebrated?
the way it is celebrated. If you could find a way to celebrate Carnival another way, hip hip hooray, I would celebrate
Another way in what? More clothing? What?
Yes, yes, but it can't work so. If you take out all of those things out of Carnival, that's not Carnival. You see what I'm saying? And as I say now, that's the danger
Well,
with
that's
with
not Carnival
music.
here. Because I'm saying, the more you're talking about it, Rev, I'm thinking about, where it's celebrated elsewhere and what Carnival means there. And Carnival is Panyard, Carnival is the song competitions, and Carnival has more components
Right,
to
right.
it than, in fact, if you don't have a costume, you can put on your T-shirt and whatever you have. So, yeah, it's an interesting discourse.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And what does Carnival mean to Jamaica?
Yeah,
which seems
and that's
to be
why I
different from
celebrate
other places.
TVJ
Yeah.
having this discussion today, because we need to have these conversations, Carnival is there now, it has established, granted, every now and again it pulls out, like the road march, but it comes back in and so on. It's now a part of Jamaica, but we need to have the conversation.
Forgive the choice of wording,
Yes.
but I'm going to play devil's advocate. You said postmodern society, and one of the things about postmodernism is also the way people are now reasoning. And there are people who have a school of thought that, I wouldn't say they're atheists, but they have different concepts of religion and Christianity, and so they feel nothing is wrong with Carnival. And in a postmodern society, shouldn't they be allowed?
Right,
to
so
believe
we're
that?
living in a free society, and so all ideas must contend in the public space, and so you could say that we need to allow free expression, but also a society has a responsibility to protect itself. You see, and so even though we are, becoming open and free, a society has to regulate itself. It can't accept anything.
Yeah. And let me join Delia in that. What about the folks who say, yeah, it is on a Sunday and we don't have plenty clothes, but we're really just enjoying ourselves. We go to church same way, we love God. Some are Christians out there. So they don't think that they're morally low.
Yeah.
They just think that this is a time to have fun. Nobody not killing nobody that Sunday, and we sit down and we watch them and we enjoy ourselves. How do you respond to those?
So fun must be experienced within responsible action. So I serve in a community where there's a lot of shootings, and killings. So for some parts of that population, shooting down a man is fun, Yo, me shoot down the boy, me kill the boy, me done him, turn him in a dopey. And that becomes a joke. That becomes a joke. That's not a joke. Taking a life is not a joke. But for them, it's their carnival.
Isn't that an analogy a little extreme, though?
That's what happens when we allow things to go unmanaged and unregulated. It becomes extreme. And so after a while, if you don't mind sharp, people wear nothing.
All right. So finally, in your opinion, the way it is celebrated, we should not have Carnival.
Yeah, I would say that.
Period.
At
any time of the year.
The way in which it is celebrated.
At any time of the year.
At any time of the year. The way in which it is celebrated.
Okay.
But the art of it, the music, oh boy,
Yeah.
colors,
Yep.
yeah.
All right. Thanks,
a desire to bring people together in the streets. Yeah. These things are great things that, That's what festival did way back in the day.
Is this
Remember?
Is this a personal opinion, by the way, or this is how you think the church feels?
I think that this is a position that a large part of the church would hold.
Okay.
And when I say a large part, trust me, a large part of the church.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for coming.
It's a pleasure being here, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Both of you. You're doing a good job.
You too. Big
Thank
up
you very
August
much.
Town.
Yeah,
We have
my
faith in you.
people,
We have
August
faith
Town,
in you.
yeah, man.
He's the former chairman of the National Leadership Prayer Breakfast, Dr. Reverend Stevenson Samuels.
A different kind of color on the streets after the break. We'll be right back.